Hi guys, Heaven Salty here, and I wanted to share with you an experience that I had while visiting my parents. And let's just call this an awakening. Okay, so if you've been following my video series, you know that what I talk about in my channel is supernatural things and personal experiences. So these are not stories of things that I've heard. These are actual accounts of things that I've personally gone through or witnessed myself. Okay, I can only give you my personal testimony, things that I've experienced. Okay, and you can take that information and run with it however you see fit. Well, I recently went to visit my parents, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this in any of my videos, but I come from a background that I would just say people in my family are sensitive to the supernatural. I grew up, with several encounters of different things. I even once lived in a haunted house. So I'm pretty sensitive to things that are otherworldly, if you will. But so let's just get into my story here because I don't want to make this too long of a video. So I recently went to visit my parents, and they live in a place where you can feel the history. You can feel like it's an old place. Um, and the building itself makes noises and all that good stuff. It was probably the second night at their place that I had this experience. And I'm just gonna tell you exactly how I felt it in the sequence of events that it happened. So I don't know what time I actually went to bed, but obviously it was dark. So um, it was some time, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours into my sleep, where um, the fan was on in the room, and I felt like my sheets were being pulled off. More specifically, I felt like someone was touching my right leg. Okay. And it's a pretty significant feeling because you can feel like I could feel someone taking the covers off of my right leg. And then I felt like a weight on my chest. So this obviously woke me up. When you're woken up like that, startled, you don't know what's going on. So it took me a few minutes to kind of figure out, was I awake, was I sleeping, what was going on. So I tried to ignore it, and and I rolled over to go back to sleep. Again, I felt a sensation on my leg. So this time I know I'm awake and I know it's real. Something's trying to get my attention. Obviously I'm a little afraid because I don't want to turn around and see what is trying to take the covers off of me. So I do turn over and look at the watch, at the clock in the room, and it says 3 a.m. and 33 minutes, so 333. Now, I'm going to talk about numerology in a minute, well, actually in another video, but just keep that in mind, the 333. So at this point, I know that there's something spiritual going on because the significance of the time, the sensation that I felt, obviously there was no one in the room, and then the next thing that happened, okay? I wanted whatever was happening to go away. So I was a little fearful and I didn't want to get up, but I was wide awake. So I shut my eyes real tight. And what happened was just incredible, okay? And you don't have to believe me, but this is what it was. As soon as I shut my eyes, it's like a white wall appeared, or like a curtain, okay? And I could see through my lids, okay? So like my eyes are closed, but I guess you would say through your mind's eye, I could see something, okay, unfolding in front of me, okay? So just picture this. My eyes are really tight like this, okay? But I can see this white window and this stuff that's happening outside in my room while my eyes are shut. And what I witnessed was this. There were about 4 to 5 angels that immediately came to me and wrapped me in their wings, okay? Kind of like a shield, kind of like covered me for safety. It was about, I saw about 4, but there was like a blurry, so there could be around 5. The first thing that happened was that. So I got wrapped by angels' wings. Instantly, as my maternal instincts kicked in, and I said, "Go protect my daughter," who was in the other room. So instantly, one of those angels flew to her room. The next thing I saw was a falcon god. Now, this is going to sound crazy. I had to look it up later to see that it was, I believe it's Horus, the falcon god, Egyptian god. He was very distinctive. I too said to him, "Go protect my daughter." He flew out the room. I then saw, I don't know how to describe this figure, but I would just say like an Egyptian, one of those soldiers, that protect the gates or the doors, or like if, to the king or the queen, they they have their staff, and I just call them like the warrior soldiers or something like that. But it was an Egyptian thing, warrior, about 9 feet tall, huge. And again, my instinct said, "Go protect my daughter." So this thing goes out the room and it says, "Amon Ra." Boom. And it puts his staff like just hits the ground really hard. And he's literally blocking the entryway to my daughter's room where she was sleeping. So, the angel went first, and this falcon thing, now this like Egyptian whatever warrior, and then I see this like panther lady. And she was interesting because she was like, she looked, she had the headdress of like the Egyptian, I would say like Cleopatra, but she had like a panther leopard face. Again, another Egyptian goddess thing. And I looked all these things up later. All of that happened so fast, all these things. So I'm having angels on one side, Egyptian goddesses on the other side. And so this gave me the power to stand up and then just investigate. I'm like, okay, I'm up. I opened my eyes. I walked down the hallway of the house. I could see nothing. It was pitch dark. I thought I heard, my parents calling my name. It was like you could hear a pin drop in the house. Everyone was literally dead asleep. Like there could be an earthquake and no one was budging. Okay. I went into my daughter's room. I sat down next to her bed. Just sat there, just like with my eyes open, like, okay, now what? I saw all this happen in my mind's eye. Excuse me. Something woke me up to get my attention. I don't know why. And now what? Right? I obviously can't go back to sleep. So after I don't know how many minutes sitting there in her room, I said, okay, what, I got your message. I get it. I don't have to be afraid. I have all these guides, all these protective guides. And then I just went back to the room, and, shortly after that, I fell back asleep. Okay. Now, that's my story. What the significance of it, I guess, in my opinion, I would say is I was revealed my protectors. Like, I always felt I had a connection to Egyptian, whatever, past life or something like that. And it was revealed to me, one, the spiritual world, two, something was happening, and three, I was revealed my protectors, which were some Egyptian gods and some angels, which pretty much answered one of my questions, which I will cover in another video, that talks about religions and gods and stuff like that. But for the time being, what I realized in that experience was, there's more than one God. There's a lot of spiritual entities. I myself am connected, obviously, to Egypt and to Nordic gods, which was where the angels came from. And I was revealed the message that I was protected, and, that I'm on the right path to my spiritual enlightenment, and to not be afraid. So if you guys read anything else into that story, please share with me. Tell me, as I was depicting what had happened, what you guys in your mind's eye got for information off of that. And let me know if you, you have some messages that you think you received from my experience.